Our sports sticker is sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Now, get ready for 2 hours of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
They are bunched up around the line of scrimmage. Handoff to Dell. Dell off the right side. Touchdown, Nebraska. Dante Dowdell finds Pater. 6-0 Big Red. Let those balloons loose. 4th and 10 from the 26. Shotgun for Kaliak Menace. Gets the belt high snap. Has some time. Gets hit. Goes down. Huskers will take over on downs. James Williams again gets home.
Bump set to the left side, and Hudson swings. There's Lexi with another dig. Huskers the slide. Jackson needs it. Off the tee it out. Nebraska's second lead, set 5. It's 13-15. 13-12 Nebraska. Devaney Delirium. Bergen sends it to the back middle. Great pass again by Hudson. Outside set. Chloe Chacoin tipping. And there's Bergen. Huskers have it. 16-15 in the 5th. Right side. Merritt. She got it. Point Big Red. Call the grandkids. Nebraska takes down Purdue. 17-15. Set number 5. And they love it in Lincoln.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Back after a weekend off for the Big Red. Hope everybody got your batteries recharged. Maybe you went to a wedding. Maybe you did a little vacay over the weekend. But now it's back and getting ready for a nationally ranked game on the Fox Big Noon Kickoff. This is going to be fun. Huskers back in the top 25 in the coaches poll at number 25. And here comes the stretch, Jess, that we kind of talked about for several months, really, about how the back stretch of this season is going to be fun, interesting, and challenging. And it starts with a game that I don't think we thought was going to be real challenging a couple of months ago. But here's Indiana, one of the great stories of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go back to when this schedule gets released and even going back to the spring and the summer, and people start mapping out the schedule and, hey, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win. I think most people had this scheduled as a for sure win for Nebraska, or a very good chance to get a win. But here we are halfway through the season, and Indiana, like you said, has been one of the feel-good stories of the season. And this is going to be a challenging matchup, but a great matchup, a lot on the line. I mean, Big Noon's going to be there. It's the Big Noon kickoff, the primetime game on Fox, and just a lot of things riding on this matchup. And so a lot of eyeballs going to be on this matchup, as it typically is with Nebraska. But here we are, and a big matchup, bigger than what I think was expected, absolutely, going into this season.
Tell you what a great weekend to be off. There were some amazing games. You had 2 Big Ten games, both in that 2:30 window that went overtime. One you didn't expect, Purdue, Illinois. Illinois had a big lead. Purdue goes to the backup quarterback in the second half. They make a roaring comeback. Illinois survives in overtime. And then, my goodness, Penn State, USC was a tremendous football game. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Oregon-Ohio State game lived up to the hype coming down to the last play of the game. What a great weekend for Big Ten football in particular. Then you go to the SEC, a lot of amazing games in the SEC. I tell you what, this sport is really healthy. There's just so much parity and great competition week in and week out. I had a blast just kind of hanging out and watching games all Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for as much as, I know people have a little bit of a whatever taste in the mouth on the NIL and all of that, but what it's done is what you just said. It's created a lot of parity, and a lot of where in the past you basically, it was a guaranteed win for the most part when there were certain matchups. But I mean, look at Vanderbilt, look what they've done, and some of these teams that you go into it thinking, oh, they don't have a chance, but then here they are, and it just, like you said, the parity allows for there to be a lot better matchups across the board, where in the past it might have been certain cakewalks against certain teams, but it's not the case anymore, and I think it is made for more exciting watching of the sport, and a lot of upsets, a lot of things that you expect. I mean, look at our picks this week, and just this year, it's been way harder and way more challenging to figure out some of these matchups. And a lot of that is because look at the parity spread around more. The talent is spread around more than what it has been in the past. And so I do understand that certain schools are going to have more than others, but certainly in these Power 5 conferences, it is proven to make this sport, I think, more exciting and, as you said, healthy and make for some really intriguing matchups and allow some programs to turn things around quicker than maybe what you would see in the past.
That's a great point. It's hard to project what a team is going to look like in July or April or May because you don't know what all they added out of the portal, and is it going to work? Some teams add guys and the chemistry gets way off and they're just a disaster. Then some teams add players that make them holistically better. I think Indiana's a great point in that. What they added has made them markedly better than what they've been the last several years. And all of a sudden, they find themselves in the top 20. Their fan base is really excited. They're thinking about playoff if they can take care of their business coming down the stretch. They, like Nebraska, have much tougher games to come, starting with the Huskers coming to town for them this week. They still play Michigan. They still play Ohio State. So they've got some tough ones ahead. But it's hard to project anymore. And that's Matt Rhule's been making this point for several weeks. He goes, people keep telling me in June and July, oh, this part of your schedule's easy. He's like, how do you know? How do you know what they've added and if it's going to work or not? So much of it comes down to the quarterback position, which we found out about last year. We get in the portal, get a quarterback that didn't pan out, had to go to plan B, and it was a year that ended up with 5 and 7. But then if you go to the portal and you add a right guy like Indiana has, the kid from Ohio, boom, all of a sudden they're 6-0 in rank. So it's a great point on the NIL. And I don't know that people have thought much about that. I think they thought NIL would only make the rich richer. I think it has spread the wealth out among a lot of different teams.
Yeah, I think it absolutely has. And where even, you get one really good player to plug into a hole that it really makes a monumental difference for teams. This was a talented roster that Nebraska had, and now you're looking at you at a quarterback, and look how that elevates things. And, I think there are a lot of instances like that to where you get a good transfer portal quarterback, and it really can change and elevate a program that already had a solid roster in place, but just was missing that key element, or maybe a really good offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. It just, even for the programs that maybe are right there on the cusp, one really solid player or two out of the portal can really make a huge difference. And so where you can offer maybe a certain amount or make a different kind of pitch on players that you couldn't in the past, and it really just changes things up and it spreads out that wealth and allows for certain teams to be able to compete and be in the mix that had no shot in the past.
Picking the right guy is hard. And fortunately for Nebraska, they didn't have to do it this year because they signed Dylan in the recruiting period. So they got a true freshman out of high school, so they didn't have to worry about finding a portal guy that would fit. As I mentioned, it didn't work for Nebraska last year. Our old friend Jeff Colhane with Florida State was in town a couple of weeks ago. DJ Dudu's not work for them, right? It didn't. They go from Travis, when they were so good a year ago, to now Uiagalelei, who has not done well, and they're Florida State at 1-5. So it's a bit of a crapshoot. You have to be able to evaluate talent, add to the mix, and it's just crazy where you see Oklahoma down, Vanderbilt up. How do you explain some of that other than the fact that the people have kind of found the right mix at some different schools? It's crazy, and I you know what? I think I kind of like it.
I like it. It just makes it more intriguing. More schools are in the conversation. More programs are able to put their mark on college football, and it's not a guaranteed win week in and week out. You better come ready to play, as Alabama has found out. And basically every number one team in the country. Well, we'll see how Texas handles this week, but it just you better come ready to play because you just talked about Vanderbilt. College Game Day did a special on their quarterback over the weekend. What a great story there. And it just, you find that spark plug, even though he might not have been recruited, might not have been highly sought after, but he is the perfect fit for what they need. And then it just allows for this different spark, this different belief when you walk on a football field. And so, yeah, it is that it's all about evaluating the talent and do they fit your system and what you need. And the culture is a big part of it too. I mean, look how great of a fit. We heard Coach Rhule just really going on and on about Dylan and how he's fit with what this program needs. That's a huge part of it too. So it's more than just, hey, can you throw the ball around? It's can you fit what this specific program needs? And every program is different and has different needs. So yeah, I mean, but when you get that right fit, it certainly can be a game changer for a program that, again, was just irrelevant and not maybe in that conversation last year. It really can make a huge, huge difference where you're talking about a team that has no chance of being in the conversation to now they are absolutely right there in the middle of it. And I love it. I think there's a reason why the TV contracts continue to grow and expand. There's a reason why the ratings are through the roof, and it's because it's must-see TV. And you never know how teams are going to fare against each other, even though they, on paper, go into it. Hey, it's Alabama. They should take care of Vanderbilt. Oh, not so fast, says Vandy. So, and we're seeing that every week where you expect one thing to happen and the complete opposite happens. But that's what makes it drama and why it's must-see TV week in and week out.
My day started bright and early with that Wisconsin-Rutgers, the Bama-South Carolina game in the 11 o'clock window. It ended about 1 a.m. because I stayed up for the Kansas State-Colorado finish, which was phenomenal. Great game there out in Boulder. K-State held on to beat CU in a really good football game. So just a full day of college football. Man, it was intoxicating. I couldn't shut it off throughout the day today. So we're going to hear from Matt Rhule. He had a press conference earlier today. Henry had a clip for you there in the ticker. We'll get to that here in just a couple of minutes. But while Husker football was off, Husker volleyball was in action. What an amazing 5-set match Friday against 10th-ranked Purdue. The Boilers win sets 2 and 3, forcing the Huskers to have to win 4 and 5. They did. They survived a major threat from Purdue and then took care of Rutgers fairly handily on Saturday. That was expected. What maybe wasn't expected, Jess, today, and I don't know how to feel about this. Pitt got beat over the weekend by, guess who? SMU, who gave the Huskers their only loss. I think a lot of people thought Nebraska will jump Pitt. That didn't happen. Pitt's still the number one team. Should we be upset by that at all, or what do you think?
About that, who jumped what?
That Nebraska's not number one in the poll.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit, but also I don't think this team cares.
Probably not, no.
And as we heard Lauren talking a lot about over the weekend, I went back and listened to a lot of the broadcasts, and there's still lots of areas of improvement for this team. And she said that. I'm not ready to say they're a national title contender yet. They've got some things to work out, but the pieces are there. But I think even just talking with the coaching staff, I had Jaylen Reyes on the dig, which we're going to hear from coming up. There's things that they got to improve on and get better at. And so I don't think they're anywhere close to where they want to be. So I don't think they mind not being number one. I mean, we as fans can say that, and spectators of the program can be a little bit upset. But I think it also gives them something to keep pushing for and striving for, and to earn that number one ranking.
Couple of road matches this week, Friday at Michigan State, and then Saturday turn right around in less than 24 hours and play the Buckeyes in Columbus. So a road trip weekend for Husker volleyball. Because they play Friday, they travel on Thursday, so no volleyball show this week. But as Jess mentioned, we'll give you some of the dig coming up in hour number 2. All right, folks, what'd you do for the weekend? Would love to hear what your impression of college football over the weekend, or maybe you did something cool that you'd like to share with us. We'd love to hear that here tonight on the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400, the number to be a part of the program here tonight. That is our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. They have been your trusted auto partner in every day since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with a home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Back with some more sports highlight, including comments from Matt Rhule from his presser earlier today. We'll do that next.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots. We are born to raise. At Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it, between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise. At Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough.
Get a 2024 Ford Super Duty for 1.9% with Ford credit financing, or get $2,000 bonus cash only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you on a Monday night. Post-bye week number 1 for the Cornhuskers today. On our text line at 402-413-2400, Mike says, have you heard anything about a blackout for the Indiana game this weekend? That is kind of circulating around because of Indiana's color scheme, a little bit different hue of red, but they're also an Adidas school, that they're kind of circulating through some of the social media sites. If you're going to the game and you're a Husker fan, wear black. So pull out your black polos or black quarter zips. And by the way, the weather looks terrific. It's supposed to be low 70s and sunny on Saturday in Bloomington. So yes, that's been kind of going. There's no official statement from the athletic department on that, Mike, but that has been kind of traveling the circles, people to differentiate yourself from the Indiana fans on Saturday's game against the Indiana Hoosiers. Again, the 16th ranked Indiana Hoosiers. John in Omaha says, I caught myself in a weird position cheering for Colorado this weekend. I would have loved to have been their only loss at this point in the season. I never thought I would be so excited about Nebraska-Indiana game as I am about this weekend. Huskers need to bring the lumber. Go Big Red. You're right, John. I mean, who would have thought this game would be one of the bigger games in the country this weekend? But, in fact, it is. That's why you've got Big Noon Kickoff. Going to be doing a pregame show from Bloomington. You got the A-Team with Joel Klatt, Gus Johnson calling this game for Fox. It is. I mean, I'm way more surprised that Indiana is in this position than Nebraska, honestly. But credit to Hoosiers. They've done a terrific job early on. All right, Matt Rhule met with the media earlier today, and his first comment that we're going to play for you, he said he sat back and watched a ton of college football this weekend and asked if the unpredictability of the Big Ten shone through to him as he watched these games this weekend.
Yeah, I think, though, when you look at when they expanded the Big Ten to 18 teams and they brought in a team that played for the national championship last year, just think about that all of itself. Oregon, who, Dan's done a great job, but even before him, Mario did a great job. They've been a 2-loss team for the in that range for the last 5 years, and they've been a great team for a while. Then you bring in a team with USC that won 11 games 2 years ago or whatever it was. You had to, you put the travel in. I mean, I talked a lot about the travel, and everyone kind of oh, I got you, Matt. Like, the travel, the weather, that was hard to throw the ball last week against Rutgers. That was 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts, at least is what it said. It was hard. I think you're going to see a lot of unpredictability. It's like the NFL, right? You never know in the NFL who's a good year in college football moving forward is going to be like 8-4, 9-3. It's just what it is. It's why. There's a lot of teams that do really well, but they're not playing who we're playing. It's just a different league, right? And the Big Ten and the SEC they've just evolved, right? And then, so, you look at the statistics on traveling, multiple time zones, what that's doing to teams. I mean, I just think it's all really interesting. It's all about how healthy you are. There's not as many, take the game off games. You have to be ready to play every week, and people are battling. And again, now teams are losing on the last play of the game, right? I mean, Illinois has done a great job. Brett's done a great job. They won 2 games in overtime, right? I mean, it's just kind of what the Big Ten's going to be, I think, moving forward. It's going to be like the NFL.
I mean, Greg, it's kind of what we were just saying, just about the parity and how much it's a battle week in and week out in the Big Ten. But, I actually like the stance. I know that just given the past of college football, you can't lose a game, But I mean, in the NFL, you can lose a game and still make it to the Super Bowl and still win the Super Bowl. And so, I like that there's still obviously still a lot riding on every single game, but it's not over if you lose a game. I mean, Ohio State is not out of the playoff conversation or even winning a national championship because they lost at Oregon. So I actually like that there is now that element where you never want to lose. Obviously, you want to win every game. But if you do lose, you still have the opportunity to go, otherwise, a lot of times it's a letdown for a lot of programs. If you lose one game, then, there you go. You're not in the conversation anymore. But now, the way that it is, you still have a chance. And so I like that element has added. But it's a battle. It's certainly a battle week in and week out.
And I think his last line is something we all need to kind of think about. The margin is so tiny now between a lot of these teams. 2 overtime games in the league this week. Another game in Ohio State, Oregon that came down to the final play. Minnesota, UCLA wasn't the final play, but the Gophers took the lead for good with about 40 seconds to go. So the final minute, that's what it is. And so the day and age of rolling people by 40, 50 points, those are kind of gone. And fans need to just kind of appreciate every win that you can get and soak it in. Walk away from the stadium with a big old grin on your face.
Yeah, and style points don't matter as much anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have to win by that much.
Just win, baby, right?
Yeah.
Just win and move on to the next week.
Absolutely.
All right, you mentioned this in the opening segment about NIL has tweaked a lot of this, built some parity, I think, around college football. Indiana, 27 guys is what they went and got out of the portal. That's a lot, but that's kind of a first-year coach. A lot of first-year coaches will do that anyway. Signetti brought a bunch of guys from James Madison with him, and a lot of them are playing right now for him. Matt Rhule was asked, are we going to see more of that kind of roster building moving forward?
Yeah, everyone has to forget the logos and the names and just like, this team's always been good, or, whatever. I mean, Vanderbilt backs up a win against Alabama with a win over Kentucky, who's probably the best defense in the SEC, right? Because they've got a dynamic quarterback. I'm sure they have. I won't really watch them, but I spent Saturday watching college football, and every game's starting to come down to the end. You're really starting to feel the impact of the 2-minute timeout, especially at the halves. People that play the middle eight right, have an advantage. And then your roster, your roster, how healthy you are, but yeah, I mean, you can have a really good team and all of a sudden lose them one year. I think in college football now, if you lose a coach to a better job or a different job, it can decimate your program. It can be a quick fix for another program. So there's a lot of things that are just different, and I think everyone's going to have to just kind of, like you said, just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the changes, right? But it's also, too, where look at Washington, right? I mean, I know they got beat pretty bad this week, Greg. Unfortunately, that was a bad pick for us. But, they, even despite the loss of their head coach, and they are able to still be and win some games and still have some talent there. It like he said, it can decimate a program, but then it also allows for you to rebuild it up a little bit quicker, too, especially when you got a coach coming from college that can – those relationships are so important, and a lot of those players sign up to play for a certain coach, and then if that coach goes and they want to go with them, so it can allow for you to yes, it can really hurt a program, but then it also can really help turn around things pretty quickly too.
Indiana 6-0, 3-0 in the league. They've had road wins in the league at UCLA and Northwestern, and they beat Maryland at home, putting up a lot of points. They are scoring at a pretty high clip. Here's the coach talking about trying to defend the Hoosiers this Saturday.
I mean, well, they're leading the Big Ten in passing, and at least they're close, if not the top in rushing. They're top 10 in the country in offense. They're top 10 in the country in defense. They're the only team that hasn't trailed all year. They've scored 80 points in the fourth quarter. So this is probably a top 10 football team we're facing, right? It's one of them. They started the season unranked, so they're not maybe getting the due that they're supposed to get, right? I mean, other people can lose to a bad team and they'll keep them in the top 10 because whatever they started in the top 10, But Coach Signetti's done an amazing job. Quarterback's absolutely fantastic. They got playmakers. They're good on special teams. It's a great team.
Now, Greg, you had made this point last week during the picks to maybe to contradict Coach a little bit. They did play UCLA. They haven't played the most challenging schedule, I'll say that, but those numbers are certainly impressive. They did play UCLA, which you had said this. UCLA started to figure things out, I feel like, after that game. And so they beat the brakes off UCLA back in September, and then have had a couple of games where they've been able to really put up some big time points to pad the stats. But it's certainly, you still got to give them a lot of credit for what they've been able to do. I mean, Northwestern continues to fight, and they, handled them as well. So, but I think Nebraska is by far going to be the toughest team that they've faced. So we'll see how good they are coming up this week.
Yeah, once you figure out Northwestern, would you let me know?
There's a lot of teams that you keep putting on our picks list that I don't know. I can't figure out.
Aren't they the darndest thing? Kind of when you go, okay, they're done. They go and they whip Maryland like they did Friday night. I mean, that was a blowout win for the Cats, and all of a sudden they're sitting there at 3-3, and they're still they're thinking they're going to get to a bowl game, and they might. They still might fight their way to a bowl game moving forward. All right, the bye week allowed the Huskers to clean up some things. They put a lot of work into special teams, some of the other areas, and also they handed out a couple of more black shirts. Here's the coach.
Yeah, put Sierra in black because he's a starting corner right now, and the defensive guys came to me. They asked for Buschini to be in black, so we put Buschini in black.
Love that. I mean, we've had some people that have texted in, get Buschini. I think Shane in the chat has said it multiple times. Get him a black shirt. He tackles like that and makes some of those plays. And where he sets up the defense sometimes, I mean, the fact that I love the story behind it. I don't know if we're going to hear from that, but just that Marquise Buford said, hey, we got to give Buschini a black shirt. If the players ask for it, pretty special. But I know that's been something that people have been asking for a few weeks now. So I got it done this week.
You're right. I've got that clip lined up next. Here's the coach talking about why the defensive guys thought it was so important for Brian to get a black shirt.
I mean, I think the way he's impacting the game defensively, right? I mean, I know I had talked to Jason Peter a couple weeks ago and asked him how that worked, and he said, at the bowl game, those guys would always get it. And then I asked someone else, and they said Coach Rhule, Coach Callahan did it once with a punter in the middle of the season. So I was kind of like, all right, well, I'll just stick with tradition. But I just think it's when the players. When Marquise Buford texted me at home, it was like, Coach, we need Buschini in black. I thought that was a tremendous mess, whether it was the tackles at Purdue, or the game-saving tackles on the field goals, or just the punts he made last week. To get hit like that and come out there and not. Some guys get hurt and they come out and they finish the game. Like, he accelerated. So, but again, I did it because it was from the players. They feel like he's part of that unit. So let's roll.
Gotta love that, and that just again goes to show you, Coach Rhule. He does what he says he's going to do. He's talked about turning it over to the players and being a player-led team. And when they have something that they want to get done within the program, he listens and he delivers on that. And so that's something that he's wanted them to do. So now they take ownership of it, then he's going to listen to them. So love that. And awesome for Brian Buschini. He said, I feel like I'm an extension of the Black Shirts. I know I'm not out there as much as them, but, I feel like I have to play my role for them. So love that. And he's so well respected. He is so respected on this team. And so love that those guys went and said, Coach, give him a black shirt. And Coach listened.
The tackle he made at Purdue alone. I mean, my goodness, that should have been our NCPA hit of the game. I'd already given it out, but he just blew up that guy in that punt return. So good for Brian, popular guy on the football team. I think that's a very, very popular move that he was able to make right there. All right, phone lines, text lines open for you, 402-413-2400. Need to slip a break in. We're back with more of the show next.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Hey Husker fans, Coach Rhule here, thanking you for your incredible support of Nebraska football. We're working every day to bring championship football back to Nebraska. Just as important is your contribution to 1890 Nebraska, the official NIL collective of Husker Athletics. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a big impact. Your support helps us recruit and retain top talent, bringing a winning program that can compete at the highest level. Visit 1890nebraska.com or text NEBNIL to 801-801 now.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Peek pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first, before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Live reports of a polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hubbard here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on New York equipment. The best warranty you have.
Call 402-391-2336.
Hello, Husker Nation. This is Lex Rodriguez, All-American Libero, serving you an ace on behalf of Noddle Companies based in Omaha, Nebraska. Noddle Companies is a full-service leader in commercial real estate, digging deep to create thriving communities like the Builders District, Exarban Village, and the contemporary row house townhomes. They bring world-class concepts in fashion, great eats, gorgeous homes, and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. To dig up more information, find them on Facebook and Instagram. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Get a 2024 Ford Super Duty for 1.9% with Ford credit financing, or get $2,000 bonus cash only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Cox Mobile is hosting Huskers Hangout, Omaha's official watch party this Saturday at Smash Park in La Vista. Game kicks off at 11 for Fox's big noon kickoff. The event is open to the public, and all ages are welcome. Husker Hangout, presented by Cox Mobile, this Saturday at Smash Park in La Vista. For more information, go visit huskers.com/hangout. Weather here's supposed to be decent for that'd be fun. Go hang out with some Husker fans, watch the Huskers on a big screen take on the Indiana Hoosiers. And it was announced earlier today. Henry had this in the ticker. The game at Ohio State a week from Saturday also will be the big noon kickoff. So just some terrific back-to-back weekends of amazing coverage, being in Fox's #1 window. A chance to really show people that your program's making progress. This is a real opportunity for Husker football.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, to to build off of that, too, you got the Husker football team on Big Fox on the national stage. And then right after that, you got Husker volleyball that's going to be on NBC, another national stage kind of matchup. So huge day for Nebraska Athletics, being a lot of eyeballs going to be on both programs from the kickoff of football until the volleyball team's done at Ohio State. So really awesome opportunity.
That's fantastic. This was a new one today. I saw that Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State's head coach, does his weekly press conference like Matt Rhule does on Mondays. He did his today. Have you heard this, by the way, Jess?
No, I haven't.
He did his today via Zoom. Apparently, he got head-butted by his cow that made him dizzy, woozy. So he's like kind of in a concussion protocol type deal. So he couldn't. So he's supposed to, I guess, not travel or not do too much. But that's a new one. Got head-butted by a cow, so I can't do my press conference today.
Well, I mean, I wonder, like, what you're doing where your head is head-buttable to a cow.
Right?
You know, if you're running away from them, normally they'd, maybe get you in the body somewhere, but to be, like, in the... I don't know. How do you get head-butted by a cow? I don't know.
And I doubt it's a dairy cow, right? I doubt it's a dairy where, you're kind of down there around their business and maybe that, but I doubt he has one of those. But they're not having a very good year. They have to play BYU this week, who's a little bit like Indiana, kind of a big story, undefeated at this point in time.
It's funny because, so I went out of town this weekend with some family that went to Oklahoma State, big Oklahoma State fans, and she asked me, my cousin asked me, why don't they hand the ball to Holly? That's what everybody wants to know. That's what everybody wants to know. Why are they not getting him more touches? Why are they, you go into it thinking they have a good shot because of that very thing, but yet they're just horrible. Oklahoma, for some reason, in the entire state, they don't play very good offense on the offensive side of the ball this season, because both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State offenses have not been good, which is so opposite of what you normally see out of those programs. Normally, they are just lighting people up, both Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, but not this year.
Maybe your family can get out the reason how he got headbutted. Maybe they can dig into that for us.
Yeah, I'll have to ask.
Use your contact, because I'd be interested. What was he petting the cow in a field and the cow didn't line up? I mean, I don't know. Let
me do some digging into this. I'll see.
Yeah, the mind kind of wanders a little bit about, okay, how did this exactly happen? That I'm with you. How do you get in the position where the cow could actually butt you in the head? So, Greg in Lincoln says he wants to know our thoughts about how Iowa and Wisconsin were impressive this weekend. They were. A lot's been made about Wisconsin going with a backup quarterback in Braden Locke. He actually started about 4 or 5 games a year ago as the backup, so he's not like a brand new guy. He's done this before, and I think that their bye week came at a good time. They kind of found themselves a little bit, and I thought Rutgers would be beat up a little after playing here. They were beat up coming in here, big physical game in Nebraska. I picked Wisconsin to win that game, so I was not surprised by that at all. Iowa a little bit. I thought Iowa might be a little pouty after the Ohio State game, but they kind of found their offense again. McNamara made enough passes. Caden Johnson is a terrific running back. They got their ground game going a little bit. And Washington, I probably should have factored this more into my pick. They had a lot of attaboys last week after beating Michigan. Sometimes you pull off a big win like that. You beat Michigan. You avenge the national championship loss. So sometimes you're not quite mentally locked in for the next game, and that kind of looked that way for the Huskies on Saturday. So credit Iowa, credit Wisconsin, and Greg, I don't like the fact that some of these teams we're getting ready to play look like they're kind of finding their stride a little bit. I do not like that at all. Hopefully they've got time to reverse course and go back the other way. You want teams struggling when you step on the field with them.
How about the graphic I sent you and Searles that Cade McNamara, he threw his first touchdown pass versus a Power 5 team since 2021?
Isn't that crazy? Well, of course, last year he got hurt like game 2.
Yeah.
So he barely played. The year before he was splitting time with J.J. McCarthy at Michigan, so he didn't get it was limited there. But I saw that same thing and I about fainted. And then I almost thought that meant the entire Iowa quarterback room hadn't thrown a pass, which wouldn't have been too far off. I know they've done some of that. But
I guess more so that I guess for me it was more shocking that he hadn't thrown one this year. I guess I didn't realize that he hadn't thrown one this year.
Yeah, right? This is game 6 for them.
I understand he got hurt and sat out, whatever, but I thought, with that new and improved Iowa offense, that surely he had thrown one this year, but I didn't realize he hadn't thrown one this year.
They have scored 40 or more points 2, maybe 3 times already this year, so it has gotten better with the new OC over there in Iowa City. All right, keep those texts coming, 402-413-2400. We'll step aside, get our final break in, back to wrap up Hour 1 next.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable block with no way through. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final set. Reach out, speak up, and let's bump, set, and spike this challenge together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than players. We're a supportive community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every serve, every pass. Go Big Red. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough.
Get a 2024 Ford Super Duty for 1.9% with Ford credit financing, or get $2,000 bonus cash only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
You're gonna feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we're born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
For almost 50 years, Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been more than just a dealership. We're a family dedicated to serving yours. Shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer for the new car, truck, or SUV to fit your needs. We're also your GMC Business Elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Visit us at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
402-413-2400. Final few minutes of Hour 1 of Sports Nightly here on a Monday night following the first of 2 Husker football bye weeks. Now, the second one will be November the 9th, but there's all kinds of Husker basketball, Husker volleyball that weekend, so that one you won't have as much downtime. You'll have to be following a bunch of Husker sports going on November the 9th. Okay, you've been doing some investigative work on how in the heck did Mike Gundy get head-butted by a cow, and some of your reports back are kind of interesting.
Well, I also was looking it up, and it sounds like it's pretty bad. Like he is pretty
banged up.
Yeah. So I was asking around, and I asked one person, how did Gundy get headbutted by a cow? And he gave me his opinion, and then he said, oh, you also got headbutted by a cow.
Ooh, boy.
That is pretty good.
That's really good. Yeah, the Longhorns had their way with the Sooners. I think we all got that one right, though, didn't we, on our pick segment? I think we all went with Texas.
Yes, yep.
That game.
It starts out, starting that game out, again, weird things happen. And you're like, is Texas going to give Oklahoma some confidence? And then, boy, they shut the door pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, sure did. Interesting. You and I talk some from time to time about the pregame shows, and Kirk Herbstreit called that Oklahoma-Texas game, but he started game day in Eugene, Oregon. They were out there for the Ohio State-Oregon game. So he did like the first half of that show. Then they put a camera with him on his car ride to the airport, then had a camera on the plane. He made his picks at the end of the show while he was 30,000 feet in the air, flying from Eugene to Dallas, which I guess he barely made kickoff a couple of hours later. That's pretty unique little television production loop, isn't it? That's kind of cool.
And what's crazy, too, about doing that, I don't care where you're flying into, what kind of perks you have, that traffic is awful in Dallas getting to the fair, and it is backed up, and there is no way around it. I mean, even there were times that I was on the team bus, and it just to get into the fair, to get into, because the stadium is inside the Texas State Fair, there's just crazy amount of people, crazy amount of traffic that even with the best of the best and all of the hoopla and perks that you get for flying private and you have an escort, whatever it might be, it is still not a, hop, skip, and a jump to get around down there. It is not easy to navigate. So that was pushing it for ESPN to have him fly and make that 2:30 kick.
Sure was. I mean, I'm sure they had it kind of timed out. They probably factored in traffic and some of those things. But to me, that was kind of risky to what they did there. But that was a cool thing. By the way, Texas, Georgia this week? Sign me up. I'll be we're trying to watch as much of that game as I possibly can. Another great week of some cool matchups around the country. Those, of course, will be part of our pick segment coming up on Thursday night. Folks, Woodhouse has been a trusted auto partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Fast first hour coming up next hour. The latest edition of the podcast, The Dig, this week with Jaylen Reyes, Husker assistant volleyball coach. It's out. We'll play a good chunk of that coming up in the second hour of the program. And keep those texts coming. Love them. 402-413-2400. Maybe you have a take on how Mike Gundy headbutted a cow. Probably shouldn't be making fun of him, I guess, because it does sound a little serious, but I can't resist. Sorry, folks. It's kind of the mood I'm in tonight. All right, we're back with hour two coming up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
From family road trips and a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling and a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Good evening, I'm Henry Goodwin, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. In Husker volleyball news, Bergen Riley was named Big Ten Setter of the Week for the third time this season and the seventh time in her career. In Husker football news, game time for Nebraska at Ohio State was announced earlier today with an 11 a.m. kickoff in Columbus. Live coverage, as always, will be right here on the HRN. Earlier today, head coach Matt Rhule met with the media before the Huskers game this weekend against 16th-ranked Indiana. Rhule was asked about how the team responded after the bye week. Here's what the coach had to say.
They got to have some time to themselves, and I thought everyone was in a pretty good mood this morning. You know, everyone looked out. We just practiced. It was excellent. So hopefully it benefits us, you know, because we got 6 ball games left. We got, 3 and then another bye, and this is as big a game as we've ever probably played in terms of mistakes and all the things that get people excited on the road. Ranked team, best offense probably that we faced. One of the best that we'll see. So I'm sure our guys are focused.
Today, Nebraska men's gymnastics announced their schedule for the 2025 season. The Huskers will host 3 home meets. More details can be found at huskers.com. Husker women's basketball single game tickets went on sale earlier today. Tickets can be purchased at huskers.com or by calling the ticket office at 1-800-8-BIG-RED. The MLB postseason continues as the last 4 teams race for the pennant. The Mets settled the score against the Dodgers in Game 2, winning 7-3. Game 1 of the ALCS is on in New York as the Guardians take on the Yankees. The score is 0-0 through 1 inning. Our sports sticker is sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call the timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Now get ready for Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
They are bunched up around the line of scrimmage. Hand off to Dell. Dell off the right side. Touchdown, Nebraska. Dante Dowdell finds pay dirt. 6-0 Big Red. Let those balloons loose. 4th and 10 from the 26. Shotgun for Kaliak Menace. Gets the belt high snap. Has some time. Gets hit. Goes down. Huskers will take over on downs. James Williams again gets home.
Bump set to the left side, and Hudson swings. There's Lexi with another dig. Huskers the slide. Jackson needs it. Off the tee it out. Nebraska's second lead, set 5. It's 13-15. 13-12 Nebraska. Devaney Delirium. Bergen sends it to the back middle. Great pass again by Hudson. Outside set. Chloe Chicoine tipping. And there's Bergen. Huskers have it. 16-15 in the 5th. Right side. Merritt. She got it. Point Big Red. Call the grandkids. Nebraska takes down Purdue. 17-15. Set number 5. And they love it in Lincoln.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Where tonight, for some reason, the topic has turned to the headbutting of Mike Gundy. Here on Sports Nightly. Got a cool text, Jess. Guy says, I raise cattle. It's easy to get headbutted if you're working on beef animal in a chute or halter and lean over the head to work on an injury or tag them. You can get popped in the head. The animal jerks its head up suddenly. Many kids learn the hard way about this. Depending on the size of the animal, that head can weigh up to 100 pounds. Now, that makes some sense to me. That does.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, again, it'd be a interesting story, but who knows? I have no idea how he got headbutted, but sounds like it was he couldn't sit up without getting nauseous. So he wasn't even on camera at all. It was totally a phone-in press conference. So hopefully he gets healed up. But man, not the expectation you hear why a coach can't make a press conference.
Right, just bizarre. But they had a bye week, so he might have been out working his field a little bit, working on some cattle, trying to tag them, and got popped. So that could be the story there on Mike Gundy. Matt Rhule talked about injuries today coming off the bye week. They're hopeful, Jess, to get Tommy Hill back. And I think I talked about this on Friday's short program that we had. I don't think you can take Sierra Wright out of the lineup. And you can't keep Tommy off the field. So I think there could be a bit of a shuffle in the starting group in that secondary once Tommy comes back, because I think Sierra has earned the right to continue to play and play a lot.
Yeah, it was crazy how what we heard from Coach Rhule about Tommy, because he was in the starting group when they went through their team warm-ups, and then all of a sudden they came back out and he didn't have his helmet again, like at Purdue. And so I was like, what is going on? But it sounds like he injured it running out of the tunnel walk. And so, because he was fine, he was good to go. I had that in my report. I was like, I swear I'm not lying to you guys. He was good. And then all of a sudden he wasn't good, and he wasn't good the whole game. There was not ever a moment where after the game started that it appeared like he was going to play. So again, good thing that he's got another week to get healthy, and that we've heard how impactful he is. We've seen it. And so, but I agree. I mean, what do you do now? That's a good problem to have, but certainly you think maybe they'll see how the week of practice goes, how Tommy feels, and then, maybe there are some shuffling. And if you need to have somebody come in, run out there against, again, a team that likes to throw the football, that you have some options there that you can send out there to match up with those wide receivers.
Well, Marquise, who's playing the other corner right now, he could slide to a safety, right? He's played safety before, so he could go there. Malcolm Hartzog might be the guy that could be the odd man out, but they're still going to play Malcolm because he's got picks. He's got kind of a knack to find the football, which is a bit of a skill that he has and maybe some of the other guys don't. You're right. It's a great problem to have, but I just don't know that Tommy Hill, we know, is maybe our best DB. And the way Sierra's played, I just don't know how you can put him on the bench. He's just been too valuable to this team the last couple of weeks.
I mean, they're all going to play. It's just a matter of who starts, but they're going to get them all out there. And I mean, that's where I was going for maybe which safety comes. I don't think it's Deshaun Singleton. So I don't, and they loved the way Marquise Buford is playing. So maybe it is Malcolm Hartzog. I don't know. I mean, again, it's a good problem to have, but they'll all continue to play and contribute. And, they've been playing, a lot of them have played a lot already, and they've been shuffling guys in and out. So I think you're going to continue to see a rotation, but Sierra certainly has, earned his spot. But, you've said this since I've known you. I feel like, why don't corners and defensive backs rotate more? Because it's just one of the positions that you don't have as much rotation. But I kind of think that this defensive staff will rotate because of that very issue right there, that you have guys that can make plays. And so you give them a chance to go make plays.
Doug in Norfolk on our text line, we all know that there are going to be teams with 2 losses that make the playoff. Do you think a 3-loss team does? I don't know. I mean, we got to see what happens in the next couple of weeks, but I think 3 losses, I'd have a bit of an issue with that. If you're taking a 3-loss team over maybe a 1-loss team, I wouldn't like to see that, just because maybe they're from the mighty SEC. But Doug, I think it's to be determined. I don't think we quite know yet. We're still 6-7 weeks left of the season. I don't think we can quite nail that down yet, but I kind of would be disappointed, Jessica, if somebody goes 9-3 and makes the playoffs. To me, that doesn't seem playoff worthy to me.
Yeah, I don't think at this point any of those teams, if they're 9-3, if they have 3 losses, I don't think they get in. The only thing that maybe you might have some concern about is if it's Georgia or Alabama that ends up losing 2 games at the beginning of the season and then absolutely dominates and then loses in the SEC championship game or something like that. That to me is the only scenario that I can really see maybe a 3-loss team getting in. I don't even know if I think there are only a certain 2-loss teams that will get in. I don't think it's just, I think there are certain programs that are going to get the nod for those 2 losses over other teams, like a Bama or Georgia. But I don't think it's a given that even if you just have 2 losses, you're in, just unless you're one of those programs or one of those teams that there's still some bias. Let's face it. There's still going to be some bias in this thing, even if it has expanded. But I think it's going to be right now tough for a 3-loss team to get in unless you have a scenario where you lose early and then go on a complete run, which even still, I don't know how you can get over 3 losses.
Yeah, that to me, it just is a bit of a stretch to put them into a 12-team playoff where there's some automatic bids that go in, and one of the group of 5 schools needs to get in. So there's 1 spot. Now you're down to 11. I just think that might be tough. But, Doug, we'll see. We're all living this for the first time, so we really don't know where that's going to go from here. But I'll tell you what, we're going to hit the month of November here in a couple weeks, and there are going to be at least 20 colleges, universities that still think they have a shot of making the playoff. That's going to be kind of cool. As you hit games on November 2nd, 9th, and 16th, you're going, you know what? We just win the next couple. We got a chance to get in there. So I think it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. Husker basketball had their open scrimmage yesterday at the Devaney Center. Bryce Williams put on a bit of a show. It sounds like Connor Sejan really lit it up. Jesse made 6 3-pointers in that game. That young man could shoot the basketball. It can be fun.
Yeah, and Coach Hoiberg has said that. I mean, when he was breaking down his stats from his freshman year, they were comparable to Keisei Tominaga. Anytime now at this point, if you are in a conversation compared to Keisei, he's an elite shooter. So had a little bit of a rough patch last year, had some injuries, and then just couldn't get into a rhythm. But he is an elite shooter, and Coach Hoiberg said no doubt one of the best shooters in the country, and I think he fits the system, and guys are going to find him. He's also going to continue to allow things to open up because you have to respect him and what he can do from the three-point line, so that allows the paint to stay, not get congested as well. But he's going to be fun. You leave last year like, what are they going to do without Keisei Tominaga and just his ability to shoot the ball? And you have to respect him and pick him up from basically the half court. But Connor, when they had the three-point contest, and yes, it was outside and it was on the court and whatnot at the Haymarket, but Gavin actually beat Connor in the three-point contest. So Gavin can shoot it as well. They've got a few of those guys that you think that it's got a chance to go in every time it leaves their hands.
I'm excited about having not one but 2 point guards. I mean, we've gone through the last couple of seasons really not with any, but with Raleigh and Aaron Eulis both there, and they're different kind of players, so they can kind of change styles with whoever's in the game. That excites me. I just think there's a lot of fun parts of this team for Fred Hoiberg to work with. And we know he's a really elite X's and O's guy, particularly on sets and inbounds plays. I think he's going to have a blast drawing things up for these guys in the upcoming season. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I said this the other day, but just even because Bryce Williams ended up having to be that guy that was basically playing point guard last year, seeing how he evolves, where you can still utilize him in that role from time to time, but bringing him back off the ball and, really allowing him to get back into his more natural position. But again, you saw that he can do it and create some things in that. So, yeah, there's lots of different looks you can throw at people, but yet, and we're talking about the offensive end, but yet you also really got some elite defenders. You got Juwan Gary, who's one of the best defenders, in the Big Ten, certainly, I think. And then you got a guy like Andrew Morgan and some of the guys that can really be good inside defensively, and Sam Hoiberg as a defensive stopper. And so you still have guys that if you need to go with more of a defensive look and a defensive team, that you can do that too. And they're still going to, it all starts on the defensive end. That's what allows for them to push the ball and open things up. But it's not all about the offense either, and they still have some really, really, really great defenders that they can also match up with people in that regard too. So you're not even just talking about the different looks offensively, but it's also if you need a more defensive type of team, you can do that as well.
The men will head to Salt Lake City, Utah this weekend. They'll play one of those closed-door scrimmages against Utah, and then the next Sunday, so 2 weeks from yesterday, both the men and women have their exhibition game. The men will play Grand Valley State. The women will play Doane. And then 3 weeks from today, 21 days out, college basketball season gets underway. Can't wait for that to get cranked up and going. Well, when we come back, we're going to play part of this week's The Dig, the podcast that deals with Husker volleyball. Jess sits down every week with one of the assistant coaches for the Big Red. This week, it happened to be Jaylen Reyes. We'll have that conversation coming up next.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Imagine a world where your office IT runs smoothly, securely, and effortlessly. A day where you aren't worried about the next outage or password compromise. At Hamilton, we take care of everything from monitoring and maintenance to security and support. We partner with your business to design integrated technology solutions that fit your needs now and your goals for the future. With on-site and remote IT support options, we're always just a call or click away. Elevate your IT with Hamilton Managed IT. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Is your phone system holding you back? We know how important smooth, reliable communication is for your success. Whether your team is working from the office or on the go, you need a phone system that keeps up with your busy day. At Hamilton, we offer business phone systems that adapt to your needs, making every call clear and every connection simple. Upgrade to a Hamilton business phone system where advanced features meet unmatched reliability. Are you ready to transform how you communicate? Better phones, better business. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They're the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you Monday night. Hope you all enjoyed your bye week for Husker football. I know a couple of my friends attended weddings over the weekend. It's a big wedding weekend with the Husker bye week. A lot of brides and grooms wait for that Husker football schedule to come out and then pick an appropriate weekend. And I want to congratulate our very own Josh Banderas. Got married this weekend. Congratulations, Bando. You're not scheduled for a Big Red Reaction for a couple weeks, so enjoy your downtime a little bit, bud. I appreciate all you do for the network, and congratulations to Josh Banderas. Well, earlier today, Jessica had a chance to catch up with Jaylen Reyes, Husker volleyball assistant coach, for this week's edition of The Dig. Here's part of that podcast.
Two more Husker wins to talk about over the weekend. But before we dive in to the wins over Purdue and Rutgers, how about that atmosphere inside the Bob on Friday night? It just seemed electric.
It was awesome. I mean, the crowd definitely gave us a little bit of a boost in sets 4 and 5. And, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of business as usual for those guys. But, yeah, there was a little bit they turned it up for sure in set 4, and then it kind of bled into set 5, and we needed every bit of it. So we really appreciate the fans.
Did you guys see? You might have been in the locker room and they had the light up bracelets and stuff. That looked really awesome. Again, on TV and the pictures and stuff, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked. I mean, I saw they had a little bit. They did it before the match. So I saw that one, but I heard the light show in between sets 2 and 3 was pretty cool. We weren't out there for that part, but seeing some of the pictures was pretty awesome.
Well, Coach had said it, maybe not the prettiest wins, but found a way to win. Let's start with Purdue, and a lot of people have said this. Lauren and JP talked a lot about it on the match during the broadcast, but if you looked at the stats and didn't know the final score, it would look like maybe Purdue won that game. But what was the difference, I guess? How were you guys able to pull that one out and maybe not win pretty, but finding a way to win?
It came down to serving and passing. I mean, that's what kind of solidified it for us. They passed a little bit better. I don't think we served as well as we wanted to, but the big difference was they had a bunch more service errors, and especially in the 4th and 5th sets, they had a lot of service errors. That kind of, we had way more hitting errors than they did. They had more kills. They out-hit us hitting percentage-wise, but just the discrepancy in service errors. And then that's the one thing about volleyball that people maybe don't quite fully understand is in basketball, you lose a quarter, like let's just say, hey, you're down 20 after the first quarter. You start down 20 after the beginning of the second quarter. In volleyball, it resets to a degree. So sometimes it's if you were to divvy up when the service errors happened, they all showed up. A lot of them showed up in sets 4 and 5, and that's the big number, in my opinion, was the big number. They played awesome. I mean, Purdue played great. I think both teams played great. It was one of those matches. I think I would have felt this way even if we lost. Like, I think it's one of those matches you kind of hate to see a team lose, just because I think both teams played so hard. Obviously, both staffs are going to feel like, hey, we could have played better in these areas of the game. But I think the biggest difference, if you looked at a stat sheet, if you just scroll over to the service error part, they missed a lot of serves, and I think the big part of it was the serves they missed. A lot of them showed up in sets 4 and then in the beginning of set 5, which was a big deal just because, in the set 5, we didn't have to work as hard for some side outs versus they sided out really well in set 5 too, but they had to just work a little bit harder. I don't think we missed a serve in set 5, and they missed maybe 4 or 5 of our points, our points were off of them serving. So we didn't really have to do anything. And the margins are super thin when you're playing I know it ended up being 17, but when you're playing a 15, that's a huge boost they gave us and stuff like that. So I think that was the biggest difference in the match in terms of like how did Nebraska win. I think a lot of it was, some of the service errors we were gifted, but I mean they played great. I mean their 2 outsides were handling us pretty good, and we spent a lot of time chasing what they're doing and stuff like that. And their opposite had a nice match, especially at the beginning of the match, and stuff like that. It's just, we found a couple more points at the end. That was the difference.
I'm sure the crowd played a big factor in some of those service errors, but it's not just, Purdue. We've seen a lot of teams have issues with service errors against Nebraska. Is some of it, too, because you guys have been so good passing that maybe trying to figure out a way to get you guys out of sorts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, it could be there's some teams that, maybe not to mention teams off the bat, but serving, there's so many different philosophies in serving, and it just depends on where you came from. If I'm being honest, like me personally, not Nebraska, but Jaylen Reyes personally, there's a little bit of like give and take with serving, right? Because you could serve it really easy against good teams and just serve in. Don't make any errors, not serve too aggressively. And when you don't serve aggressively, you won't make as many errors. But those teams that are really good, they can just perfect pass you, set one of their three gnarly attackers and kill the ball anyway. So there's a little bit of like give and take. There's some teams that are super aggressive serving. So we've played some teams that their coaches are, I shouldn't say okay with missing serves, but they want their teams to go for it, which when you tell everyone on your team to go for it, you're going to have more service errors than the average team that just is more of a serve-it-in team. So I think we've played some of those teams. But I think there's to a degree of they're trying to find, we have some pretty gifted serve receivers on our team. And a lot of teams spend a lot of time trying to serve away from those guys. And when you try to serve away from those guys and how we maybe structure our serve-receive formations is we try to put maybe who we think the other team's going to try to serve. We try to maybe stick them on the sideline, a little bit closer to the sideline. So if you want to hit it over there, you have to hit it over there. And when you hit or serve balls toward the sideline, they can go out. Right. Or you just try to make the window smaller for them so that way their margin of error goes up. And for them to hit it, maybe they serve it a little easier to get it on the target. And now it's a little bit easier for us to pass. And then it's nice where we can have some of those, a couple of our littles, whether it's Laney, Lexi Rodriguez, or Olivia Mock, kind of maybe shifting over there to help maybe one of our outside hitters pass the ball. And I think some people try to serve us really tough to like, well, okay, man, Nebraska is a really good passing team. We have to try to hammer it in the seams or serve short or serve it deep. And when you try to hit the edges of the court, there's times where you're going to, sail one long or leave one in the net. And, so I think the fact that, we're a good passing team can kind of lead to that. I don't know exactly, maybe the reasons why teams are missing serves, but I think there's a little bit of factors to that. And I think, honestly, the environment is tough. Like it's one thing to serve on a Thursday afternoon with nobody in the crowd and you can just serve balls after balls versus it's 9:30 p.m., it's 0-0 in the fifth, and you have 8,000 people screaming as you're serving. That's a little bit different environment that, honestly, most teams aren't really used to, So I think the environment definitely helps. I think, maybe the things we're trying to do passing and then the ability for us to pass and side out when we pass well, it forces the other team's hand to serve it tougher, which is going to lead to some errors, So I think it's a little give and take.
So Coach Cook was saying after the win that maybe the blocking wasn't quite as good up to par. You guys are such a good blocking team, and I know you guys have tremendous respect for those outsides and Jacoin and Hudson. When you dive into the film, maybe what was some of the issues and why you guys weren't able to maybe get some touches on some of those.
Yeah, I mean, I think first, like, to give credit to Purdue, I think they, like, I think they're both really good, like both All-American level outside hitters. So, like, that's one. I mean, you know, trying to stop, most teams maybe have one. They have two, so it's like constant pressure. I actually thought they passed really well, which helped. It kind of opened up their offense a little bit. Myers, one of their second middle, not Raven Colvin, but Myers and Kenna Woolard actually had a really good start to the match. So, you know, there's a little bit of like, okay, the game plan goes toward those two outsides, but then in the beginning of the match, those two other players, the two, you know, quote-unquote role players, are having great starts to the match. So now it kind of diversifies their offense a little bit. So now it's not like we can just spend all of our attention early on the match on those two players. And then, you know, hey, trying to stop Eva Hudson and Chloe Chicoine is tough. I mean, for people that watch the match, like Chloe Chicoine's killing balls, hitting it down the line, hitting it deep cross, throwing it and tipping it into the block, kind of pushing it into the block and throwing it out of bounds. I mean, just the array of shots both of them have, especially Chloe Chicoine, it's tough, you know, and stuff like that. And I felt like early they got us on our heels, and now it's like there was a little bit of, I feel like, maybe us chasing the last play. Okay, she hits cross. You have that in your mind, so you stay a little more inside, and then she hits line, and then she tips it, you know, so it's just, you know, we were kind of out of sorts blocking in terms of just their ability to move us around. I think probably was the biggest thing, you know, and that takes a ton of skill and a ton of, you know, kind of showing us that, like, there's a million ways to kill a ball, and if you can kill a ball a million ways, it makes you really hard to defend, you know. And then the fact that now Eva Hudson rotates to the front row, and she can similarly, they're different players, but she can hit the ball all over the court and have success all over the court. You know, that's like tough to handle and stuff like that. And I just felt like they got ahead of us, and we spent a good amount of the match chasing them instead of getting out in front of them and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't have like one specific thing like why. I just felt like they moved it around and they made us chase them a little bit versus like us kind of getting out in front of them early in the match, you know. And so, and that happens sometimes, and you know, it's nice where, you know, we can kind of rely on maybe some other specific areas to win in volleyball, you know. And I thought siding out, we were pretty good. Even the sets we lost, we sided out pretty good. It's just Purdue sided out better than us in those two sets. You know, we passed really well, which I think helped facilitate some of those service errors at the end when we really needed it. So I think this is one of those games where, yeah, block and defense wasn't up to our standard, you know, but it was really nice where, hey, that didn't affect our ability to side out.
Yeah, that was a small portion of the full episode of The Dig with Jaylen Reyes. It is out now on our podcast platforms and our YouTube channel as well. Jaylen's always a treat, and so we dive into Lady Choboy and the spark that she provides. But I thought it was fascinating to hear him talk about Lexi Rodriguez and just how he's coaching her and just how it's felt different, I guess, this season for her in her senior season. So lots of great nuggets in there, and that entire episode, again, out now on our podcast platforms and our YouTube channel as well. Big weekend coming up this weekend, a road trip. Huskers play the next 3 of their next 4 weekends on the road. So a back-to-back coming up Friday, Saturday at Michigan State and at Ohio State with that Ohio State match on NBC. So really cool opportunity for the Huskers. We talk about all of that, of course. So check it out now or after the show, of course, after Sports Nightly on our podcast platforms and our YouTube channel. And The Dig is proud to be powered by Emeritus, powers The Dig and all of Husker women's sports. All right, we're going to step aside for a break. Back with more coming up after this.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Looking for the ultimate sports watching experience? Head to Smash Park in La Vista, home of Husker Hangouts, Omaha's official watch parties. Your go-to spot for epic game day deals, delicious bites, and unbeatable fun. Catch every moment on the massive screens. Challenge friends to pickleball, axe throwing, and other games. Smash Park is where the action happens, whether you're cheering on the Huskers or just enjoying the atmosphere. Smash Park. Visit us today and turn your game day into a game night. Smash Park. Play, drink, eat.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Folks, there's a new blood donation competition happening among Big Ten schools. And get this, $1 million prize is on the line. Nebraska currently #1 on the leaderboard. So if you bleed Husker Red, donate blood and submit for Nebraska at big10.org/Abbott, ABBOTT, before December the 7th. $1 million. Come on, Husker Nation. Let's go. Let's get this thing done.
And Nebraska's in the lead. And what's cool about it, too, is, and I know that they're working on, and we'll have some details coming up soon, but we're going to have our own blood drive here on campus. But anywhere you donate blood, you just need to tell them, all that information is there, but you can donate anywhere. And then, again, it adds to Nebraska's total. So if you go to donate blood, make sure that you, get that registered. And it just, again, we're in the lead, and let's hold on to it. $1 million. That's a huge opportunity there. But sneakily, I guess it's come up on us, but it continues to happen. And before December 7th, but there's going to be a couple opportunities to donate here, I think, around campus. But really cool deal, and the fact that Nebraska leads here to start things off. Let's hold on to that lead.
Absolutely, be awesome to have that done. You alluded to this earlier in the program at the end of the Oregon-Ohio State game, and I don't know if he's admitted to this, Dan Lanning, the head coach of Oregon, but he set a 12th man on the field, knowing he would get a penalty.
Out of a timeout.
What's that?
Out of a timeout.
Out of a timeout, because he knew, one, it would burn some clock and it wouldn't kill him. And that's kind of using the rules to benefit just yourself. Kind of look at that, don't they? That's a little sneaky to do. I mean, hey, good for him. He's playing within the rules, but that seems a little odd to me.
Yeah, right now the rules, that benefits Oregon, and they wanted to be able to eliminate a big play, which Ohio State certainly has the potential to do. So they run an extra man out there. Jaylen Reyes was actually, we were talking about it earlier, and he is saying that you could see one of the defensive coaches tell the player, hey, get out there, get out there. And so, you eliminate the Ohio State potential to pick up a big play to get within field goal range, because they would have had a chance to win the game if they were in field goal range. So absolutely genius move on Coach Lanning's part and the Oregon staff, but also Ohio State shouldn't be penalized by that and end up losing an opportunity to have a big play or an opportunity. So I think that's going to be something that'll be addressed. If it's something that happens, the time shouldn't be taken off the clock, I don't think, but it was a genius part by Oregon. They're playing that was a chess move, but I do think after that, I think it'll probably be a rule that will be revisited, or at least something that will be tweaked in addition to the rule where the team that the penalty is not against doesn't get penalized for it by losing precious seconds off the clock.
These coaches are clever. They'll see something and figure out a way around a lot of things. That's pretty interesting that he was able to do that. What a big win for him. And I know that Ryan Day, Will Howard are enemies right now in the state of Ohio. A lot of people just feel like Ryan Day can't win big games. His team played pretty darn well. That was a heck of a football game. And I wouldn't bet against those two playing for the Big Ten championship in about a month in Indianapolis. I don't see Ohio State losing again. And Oregon will be favored to win the rest of their games. I think we're going to see them play again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, and that would be in for a treat. If that, man, just what an incredible game. But yeah, there's a chance that those two teams could face off again, and probably will be just as epic of a matchup. But I thought Dylan Gabriel, though, played about as good as he is able to play. And you know me, I've been I have not been the biggest Dylan Gabriel fan. I think he's a little bit overrated. He balled out on Saturday, but I think that's his ceiling. Who was it? I don't know. I can't even remember who I was saying the other day, but that why is he still in school? If he was that good, he'd already be in the pros. Was that Searles that was telling us that?
Maybe, yeah.
But anyways, I think that is about as good as he can play. He had the home crowd behind him. I don't know if that's a typical performance out of him that we can expect to see, but it took all of that for them, or Oregon, to knock off Ohio State. So, but that would be a treat to be able to see those teams match up again.
I kept waiting for him to make a mistake.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Good for him. He didn't make a mistake. But you're right. Get him out of Autzen Stadium, neutral side or wherever. And I think there's a mistake coming at a big moment for him. But felt bad for Will Howard. Scrambled, lost track of the clock. And by the time he could get down to call timeout, the clock had expired. He got the Buckeyes in field goal range, but it took him too long to scramble and get down. So what a finish. What a great game. And by goodness, the ratings are through the roof for NBC and Peacock. That was a huge number, like over 12 million for that game on Saturday night. That's a big, big number.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to kind of what we were talking about all show, just about the matchups and how it continues to grow and how healthy college football is. And, you know, you got matchups like that and the drama and just the just pure entertainment. I mean, again, how are you not entertained if you're watching that? That's why college football is so healthy right now, and that revenue, that TV revenue, why there continues to be those battles over who can get those time slots and get those teams, because, I mean, it was must-see TV. So that's why it continues to be that way. And no doubt, adding USC and Oregon and the other two, but primarily those two in football, huge for the Big Ten Conference. When you can match up Ohio State and Oregon, or you can match up Penn State and USC, that is good stuff. I'm sure the Penn State-USC game did pretty darn well on CBS in that 2:30 kickoff window as well. Hey, we need to name some winners. So we're going to get to that here in the next segment. Woodhouse has been a trusted auto partner of yours every day since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with a home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back to name the winners next.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
There's something to be said for American-made. But at Monolith, we're helping create Nebraska-made. From here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. Soon we'll be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. We're investing hundreds of millions in our multiple Nebraska facilities and employing Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska-made.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Husker fans, Visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Our Akrs Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealers, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you. Final segment of our Monday show. We always save this to name our weekend winners. Jessica, who do you have?
Okay, so this is pretty neat, but it's going to take some explaining, so stick with me here. It happened last Thursday, and the Nebraska cheer team, they are fantastic in being involved in the community. They do a lot of the appearances when the teams and the coaches can't be there, but they do a lot of community service and giving back to the community. But they made a visit last Thursday night to a assisted living facility, and it just so happened that Jody is her name, and she is the oldest living Husker cheerleader at 95 years old. So Jody,
wow.
And I just got some pictures that Erin Butsky sent me. She's the director of the Spirit Squad, and she sent me some awesome photos. Jody actually has her old uniform, and it's hanging up in her room, and has some photos of the team. And so she met with the cheerleaders, the current cheerleaders, and spent some time with them. But just what a neat story. And they're actually planning their 125-year reunion coming up, so celebrating 125 years of the Spirit Squad. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. That's fantastic. Henry, can you beat that?
I don't think I can. I am going with Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State, who's just having a insane year. I mean, he's on track to beat Barry Sanders' record. He's averaging like 10 yards a game, or 10 yards a carry, and he's insane.
He's really good, and right now would probably get at least a seat at the table for the Heisman. Don't know if he wins it, but he's on the short list right now, being a Heisman Trophy winner. It's really, really good. David, what do you have for us?
All right, so I'm going with the LSU Tigers win over Ole Miss over the weekend because that was an insane game. The first quarter, no points scored, but the second quarter, there was a total of 30 points. So that second quarter blew up, and then in overtime, since they were tied at 23 apiece, Ole Miss did lots of power and got a field goal in there, but on the very first play of overtime of LSU offense, he just threw a perfect 25-yard touchdown for the win.
Sweet game. One of many unbelievable finishes on what was a wild weekend for college football. All right, my winner, the Husker bowling team. They won their first tournament of the year, coming out of the gates hot to start a new season. They're number 5 in the country. They won the Penguin Classic in Youngstown, Ohio. They were terrific. Averaged 214 through the Classic. That's a really high score. So congratulations to Paul Klempa and the Husker bowling team. Out of the gate, first tournament of the year, Jess, and they're out flying, number 5 in the country. Looks like they're going to be good again. Hey, that's a program. You're talking about programs that have high expectations every single year. Husker bowling is certainly that. Love it. Good stuff from everybody. Henry, David, thank you all so much. Thank you all for listening. Love the text line being active tonight. Back with another full 2 hours coming your way tomorrow night. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Cyber threats are everywhere. When is the last time you stopped to think about how you're protecting your business from potential data breaches, phishing scams, or ransomware? It's time to make cybersecurity a priority for your business. At Hamilton, our unmatched expertise and cutting-edge technology goes beyond basic defense, providing proactive, tailored solutions that keep your data, network, and digital assets protected. Better protection, better cybersecurity with Hamilton. Visit our website at hamiltonisbusiness.com to learn more.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88.